With everything we been through, that shoulda kept us close. I could feel a change, but didn't wanna let you go. You plant the seeds of hate and use your tears to help them grow. But for your pain.
This is B-More Desi. We back in the woods room with the State of the Ravens Part 2. I'm bringing y'all the news that's relative to the Ravens over the last 2 weeks. Now, I mean, it's a lot of excitement going on with training camp just beginning. A lot of transactions. Unfortunately, a lot of injuries. A couple of players that's been waived. A couple of new players that's been signed. So let's get right into it. First thing first, at the very beginning, Lamar Jackson tested positive for COVID for a second time. I'm sure they're going to try to make him take that COVID vaccine and make sure this doesn't happen again in the near future, especially with teams being penalized now for if players get anybody else on the team infected if they found out that that player wasn't vaccinated. So hopefully that gets resolved. Kevin Zeitler had a foot injury last Friday practice. They took him off the field. He hasn't been back at practice since. Bradley Bozeman is the starting center. He is in the starting lineup. I don't see that changing anytime soon. They said right now he's doing real good. There's no snaps going over any other quarterback's heads, so that's always good news. They said James Prochet is excelling at camp. He's made a bunch of one-hand catches and made a couple of people miss. They saying he's really been turning up the field in the intermediate routes. Really showing that he is deserving of some of that playing time that they will have available this year. Marquise Brown got a hamstring injury, nagging hamstring injury now. After watching all these workouts and all this stuff through mandatory mini camp and off-season training camp, he's been out since last week. No timetable on his return. Miles Boykin also has a hamstring injury. For people that want to hear about Miles Boykin, that is the news on him. He hasn't been out there since last week either. Side note, Judon throw a little shade at Martindale, saying that the Patriots already are putting him in a better position to maximize his talents, and he hasn't even played the game yet. And he already saying they're putting him in a better spot for him to be better. So to me, that's a shot for you being on the team for the last 5 years or so. And as soon as you get to another team, the first thing you say out your mouth is, now you're in a position to maximize your talents. But to counter that, we did sign Justin Houston last week to a 1-year deal worth $4 million, which I updated y'all to. He will be wearing number 48 this year. So that's going to be different because last year that was Pat Queen, and Pat Queen is going to 6. He'll be wearing 48, so please don't be confused thinking Pat Queen is playing defensive end. RG3 has signed with ESPN. He will be an analyst this year for them. Tavon Young is feeling 100%. So thank goodness to that. And he's in training camp and he's still looking sharp out there. That's definitely great news. With the injury news I'm about to let y'all know now. Jimmy Smith was carted off the field going down with a right knee injury. They said he wasn't able to put any weight on his leg, so obviously they had to take him off on the cart. That opens up the door for another outside cornerback to come into play. I'm really looking forward to Sean Wade stepping into that spot. You know, we still got Anthony Averett, which they still got hopes for. But a couple of free agents that they mentioned, Nikel Roby-Coleman. I like Drew Kilpatrick when he was with the Bengals. Either one of those guys I'd be happy with bringing them in to compete for a spot. Because you still got Marcus Peters and Humphrey, which held it down with no problem without Jimmy Smith. But he's often injured. This is nothing new. Out of the 10 seasons he's been with the Ravens, he's only played 2 full seasons. That ain't throwing shade. That's just speaking facts. They also signed Chris Smith, defensive end. That was before they signed Justin Houston. We also signed Darius, which is a receiver, to compete through this training camp and preseason. The great news I come to bring y'all, which is the greatest positive we could possibly have. Gus Edwards came back off of COVID. He was on COVID restrictions, so they reinstated him. And the man, the myth, the legend, Lamar Jackson was finally back at practice Saturday, and they say he was sharper than ever. After missing 8 training camp practices, he was finally back off the COVID list, so that's a great thing. Like I said, most likely they're going to make him take that vaccine, so this won't happen again. He can't miss any time this year, especially with a lot of these teams improving and the way that the schedule is. It's like you got to be on top of your game every game. The first preseason game is also coming up. We got the Saints this Saturday at 7 p.m. So everybody be tuned into that. Y'all know I'm going to give my updates after the game. I'm waiting for that first game action. I'm sure Lamar going to be in there at least a little bit. We hopefully, at least one series we'll get to see Lamar out there with a couple of those new guys. But this is B More Desi. We out.
With everything we've been through, that shoulda kept us close. I could feel a change, but didn't wanna let you go. You planted seeds of hate and use your tears to help them grow. But for your pain